What's going on, guys? The Comics Kid 2099 here, and I want to talk to you about a film that I recently bought and watched. Limitless, starring Bradley Cooper and Robert De Niro and some other people who I don't remember their names. Just recently, I went to Sam Goody. I hadn't been there in like 2 years, and they had this situation going on: buy 2 DVDs, get the third one free. And I already had 2 DVDs in my hand, and I could not find, and they had to be used. And so I could not find the third DVD. I was looking all over the store, probably spent 20 minutes in there looking for something so that I could take advantage of this deal. And then finally I found Limitless. And I never saw this movie before, but around the time when it came out, a friend of mine was telling me how good it was, and I was like, okay, that's something I need to watch. And then I just never got around to it until I saw this at Sam Goody, and I got it, and it was a pretty good film. I really enjoyed it. I had no idea that it was going to be this interesting. Basically, the plot of this movie is Bradley Cooper, the voice of Rocket Raccoon, to take it back to comic books, if you will. Bradley Cooper is a loser. He is basically just coasting through life, leeching on his loved ones and people he can take advantage of without really putting much effort into his life. And then his ex-brother-in-law gives him this pill that will make him smarter. And unfortunately, it only lasts for like 24 hours. And he takes this pill, and then he's able to write a science fiction novel or something in the span of 24 hours. And then he turns it in, and he makes some money. And then the rest of the movie is him, he gets some more pills, and then he's trying to use these pills, and lots of stuff starts happening to him. And that's basically the plot of the movie. And I have to say, the one big problem that I have with this film is that the main character, played by Cooper, is not a very likable character at all. In fact, at the beginning of the movie, like I said, he is a loser. He's going nowhere in life. He's basically just trying to live off of his girlfriend, who is actually a capable person who has a job. He's basically just letting her take care of him, and that's when he's at his most likable. I hate to say it. But after that, he kind of becomes more of a scumbag, and he's charming. Bradley Cooper, I never realized just how much charm that he has with him. So he can play a scumbag character like this and still make me root for him. And part of that also might come from the fact that almost every other character in this movie is even worse than him. All these other characters are really bad people, whereas Bradley Cooper is only kind of a bad person. And so I'm rooting for him, even though I really shouldn't be. But if you are the kind of person you want to see bad people get their comeuppance, you probably aren't going to like this movie. There is something that it would be spoiling things if I said too much about it. I've maybe already spoiled some more stuff than I wish I had. But if you want to see people who do bad things get punished for those things, this movie may not be the thing for you. There is one point in the movie, I am just going to go ahead and spoil it. So spoilers in 5 seconds, and then it's going to be over in like 10 more seconds after that. Bradley Cooper possibly kills a woman at one point in this movie. And I say Bradley Cooper, I mean his character. Kills someone, and then he just gets away with it, and nothing ever happens. He doesn't ever pay for that. He doesn't ever in any way get punished for that. And of course, we're not 100% sure that he does kill the woman, but it's pretty clear that he does. There's no one else who could have done it. And so that's something that he takes care of it, and then nothing ever happens. It's really just a moment in this movie that has to happen in order for the rest of the plot to happen. But I feel like, me personally, he gets away with more than what he should. He kind of, at the end of the movie, he kind of has a happy ending, and I don't think he deserves that happy ending. Having said that, the back of this movie, or the front of this movie, says that this is, Rolling Stone called this movie a full-tilt adrenaline rush. And I hate it whenever magazines or websites describe a movie like that, because it makes it sound like it is 100% nonstop action from beginning to end. And that's not what this movie is. This movie is not an action movie, but it's very much an adrenaline rush, like this description says. It is a whole lot of, even when it's not very action-packed, it's very suspenseful. It's keeping me on the edge of my seat, and I'm like, okay, what's going to happen next? Even when it's not like slamming on the brakes, there's a whole lot of stuff going on right now. Even when it's not that, it still has me very curious about what's going to happen next. This is a movie that it's a science fiction film, but it's not like crazy out there science fiction. It's not like Blade Runner or even, I can't think of anything, X-Men. It's not anything quite like that. It's very grounded science fiction. And personally, most of the time, I don't really care for, we're going to ground it. We're going to make it realistic. I don't really think that that was what this was going for. I think it just happened to have a very realistic tone to it that also happens to have a lot of science fiction-y aspects to it. And what's a little scary about it, maybe, is that I would say in the next 10 years, this movie won't even be that science fiction-y. I would say in the next 10 years, we're probably going to have a pill that will make you smarter. Now, it may not be quite this powerful, and it may not also be this dangerous, but I think that this movie is not going to be as fictional as it is right now in the next several years. Who knows? Maybe I'm way off in my prediction. But this TV series, there's a TV series based on this movie. I did not know that when I bought this movie, and after watching this movie, I'm very curious what the TV show is like. I do know that, spoilers for the TV show, if you haven't seen it, and I haven't seen it either, I've just kind of researched a little bit about it, but apparently Bradley Cooper is not the main character in the TV show, but he is in the TV show. And I was thinking when I was watching this, okay, there's no way that they can make an ongoing series about this particular character, because one thing that you can do in a movie that you really would not be able to do in an ongoing series is that this is basically just Bradley Cooper's rise and almost fall. He's basically just trying to turn himself into a billionaire and trying to get lots of success by using these pills. And that's something that can work in the span of 2 hours, but it can't really work in an ongoing TV series. I can watch for 2 hours, I can watch a dude make himself filthy rich and kind of step on everyone to get filthy rich in 2 hours. I can do that for a movie. I don't think I would want to watch a TV show where that's the premise, where a dude is just making himself rich and doesn't care who he steps on to do that. I don't think I would really want to spend an entire TV show watching someone do that. So I am very curious, what is the TV show going to be about? I know it's about another character, but what's his personal journey going to be about? Is he basically taking the same journey that Bradley Cooper is taking? Is he using the pills to try and help people? Is he kind of sort of a low-level superhero? Because this is a science fiction story. I'm very curious about all of that. And of course, I'm veering way off topic here. I'm talking about the TV show when I should be reviewing the movie. Basically, I do recommend this movie. I think it's a very fun movie, very intelligent movie. Intelligent in its premise, although I will say, if I never ever hear the premise of most human beings can only use 10% of their brain, but what if you could use all of your brain? If I never hear that again, it won't be soon enough, because every time I hear that, my eyes roll into the back of my head, and they do use that in this movie, but once you get past that really dumb line, it's a pretty smart, intelligent movie, and it's very smart in its premise, but it's also very smart in its cinematography. It does a lot of really interesting stuff. Like, the first time he swallows the pill, it shows like an x-ray of a human being swallowing a pill, and I thought, that's neat. That's something I wouldn't have thought of. I don't know if any cinematographer would have thought of that, except for this guy. It's a very interesting way of showing stuff happening, and there's a lot of different things like that in this movie. It's a very interesting movie. The character, not a very likable character, although more likable than most of the other characters in this movie, so in a way, it's able to get away with that, although in my opinion, you would have to be very careful. If you're a filmmaker, you'd need to be very careful making your character this much of a scumbag. Basically, the only way I feel like you can get away with it is if every other character in the movie is more of a scumbag. But that's just my personal opinion. I overall really liked Limitless, and I think you might like it too. So those are my thoughts on this movie. I hope that you guys liked this review. If you did, be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I will be back later in the week with a different kind of video. So I'll see you guys later. Have a great rest of the day.